Welcome to Massive Passive Cash Flow, the podcast that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth. Here's your host, Gary Wilson.
Tonight we're going to talk about our lead gen system. It's called Lead Pipes Premium. It's inside the Realeflow package. We haven't gone over this for a while. We have a lot of new folks on the team. And just to give you a brief overview, starting beginning of the year, actually we started prior to the holidays, having everyone focus on the fundamentals, not just because it's January and now February, but because it's the right thing to do based on where the market is nationally and locally. And for the guests, we have agents in 38 states. So any case, it's easier for us to keep our thumbs on the pulse of the country. Economically speaking, and specifically with real estate. So based on what we're seeing, you have to have the fundamentals firmly in place. And guys, it doesn't even make any sense for you to turn on any additional marketing, especially marketing that costs money, if your database is not up fully functioning, running, and producing for you. So we've been going through all of that, guys, for all the guests. So where we are today, I'm going to introduce the first campaign that's designed specifically to get listings using our lead gen system and also one of our marketing campaigns. So this is the first step beyond the fundamentals. The fundamentals include you having a monthly market update being sent out to your database consistently every single month, totally on automatic pilot. You don't have to do anything other than turn it on when somebody gets entered onto your database. So first, the steps are number 3, load your database with all the contacts you have, right? Step 2 is turn them on to a monthly market update. Doesn't matter if they're your Aunt Judy or your Uncle Bob or your mom or dad or brother, sister, or children or whatever. Turn everybody on to the monthly market update, okay? You'll be grateful later that you did that because it creates front of mind presence. So when your loved ones go out into the world and somebody says, hey, we're going to be transferred, we got to move, your loved one's going to say, you've got to call Tony Moore. I've been doing it for years. He sends me updates every single month without fail. The guy knows what he's doing. He's a true professional. And guess what? You'll get a referral that way that you don't have to pay for. All right. Step 3 is calling your sphere. I mean, you have to be consistent and persistent. And I don't mean every single day, but your inner circle you call minimum once a quarter. And it's natural because if they're your inner circle, you probably will call them anyways. Right? The second level of people called category 2, you call at least every 6 months, and everybody else is category 3, which is once a year minimum. Yes, you can automate things with texting and emails and all that. Our CRM is absolutely fantastic. You can send out mass emails, mass text. You can even phone call from our CRM at no extra cost. And all that comes with it. I mean, and they're all individualized messages. They're not going out in bulk text. Each one is individualized. And the messaging that goes out and the messaging that comes in when people respond to you is all recorded. Okay. Of course, it has the social media suite as well. In any case, what I'm getting at is all that needs to be in place so that when you turn on the paid marketing, it's going to be a lot more effective. Okay. If you don't do that and you turn on paid marketing to a cold database, you're not going to get the results you want. I can promise you, there are people on this call that can tell you, you can spend a lot of money on marketing, particularly like social media, like Facebook. But if you're not real clear on your messaging in the market you're addressing and to make sure the two match, unfortunately, they call it the Facebook furnace. All that money just goes poof up the chimney. Did anybody experience that? I mean, hey, I did too in the early days. I'm thinking this looks really neat, looks fun, looks easy. Start pumping money into it. Just hold tight on that until you get the fundamentals taken care of. So tonight, first step beyond fundamentals is go out there and get some listings by specifically identifying people that we know are most likely interested in selling. We can tell that because of our lead gen system, which is what I'm going to show you. So in any case, that's taking it up to current day, and that's what we're going to work on today. So if you have questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. Just use the chat box. Don't use the Q&A box. If you do, I'll likely see it towards the end. But use the chat box between Rob and I. We'll keep the flow going. So By the way, for those of you who don't know, and also our guest again, Rob Lane does a tremendous amount for the team. He's one of our coaches, and he brings in the newer folks and gets them up and running through the first three transactions. Okay, so Gina Hansen's she's she's still with us, but she coaches more traditional clientele, and then I do the investor part. So, in any case, those are the three people in coaching, and there's other people that do stuff. Everybody here contributes. I mean, Karen, Lisa, Tony, Dwayne, everybody here that you see in one way or another has contributed. Eric is, he's doing some stuff with Karen that we'll be talking about in the near future. So, in any case, any questions before we jump into the content? Everybody okay so far? Okay, so
Is
let
this
me
a
know if I'm talking too fast, too loud, too soft, too slow, and I'll make the adjustment. Um, Let me check
Gary?
that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have one question. I'm in Montreal, Canada. Is this available to me as well?
Not Realeflow, George, but the marketing is. So the
Okay.
everything we teach marketing wise, I personally used in both the States and Canada. There's very, very few things that we can't do in Canada. The difference is, George, is um, the US has what's called a Freedom of Information Act, which makes a
Right.
lot of our data available to the general public for a fee or for free, whatever the county decides. We do have privacy laws. The difference is in Canada, particularly Ontario, um, the privacy laws are more strict, and we don't have the same freedom of information that we do in the States. But here's the kicker. A lot of the Canadian systems are actually better. They're more well written. The software is just extremely intelligent software. It's amazing. There are things we can do in Canada. And George, if you're interested, um, we can share with you our Canadian. We have a module done, and I used to live up there, of course, that works for both Quebec, the provinces of Quebec and Ontario, and BC, British Columbia. Um, when I was up there, I purposely stopped teaching in Canada for 6 months till I could learn everything that needed to be changed. So, so Beverly, when you see this, if you could send that Canadian Module 1 out of the Investor Agent Trainer Program, send that to George, that would be awesome. And
That
then
would be
George, you'll
great.
have what you need in Canada to operate. And um, you're in you're under Andre, so you're a
Yes.
uh, you have special privileges. How about that?
Thank Good to
You're
know.
welcome. It's good to
Thank
see
you
you
very
too, man.
much. I appreciate that.
You're
Hey,
very welcome. Yeah.
George. And what market are you in?
Montreal, Quebec.
Oh, you're in Montreal. Okay. All right.
So Quebec is got also additional special features
Oh
that,
yeah.
Right.
like we don't have KV Core, for example, where in Ontario, rest of Canada, they do have.
Okay.
Um,
I'm from
uh,
Ontario, so
okay, yeah. Yeah, in Ontario, you cannot go after expireds, whereas in Quebec, we can. So there's good and bad.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is we don't have access to what do you call it? Well, to the database. So
Yeah.
that's why KV Core doesn't apply, and even Chime right now or Lofty. I talked to them, and they're still not ready to come into Quebec. So there's a few
Ah.
challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. There was. I know when I was up there, I was surprised. Like most of the states, of course, are 99% similar and 1% different, but there are some pretty glaring differences even between Quebec and Ontario.
Yes, yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah. And for everybody listening here, just know this: it you can invest in Canada just like you can invest in the U.S. A lot of similarities. Everything's based on Old English law, but there are certain rights that tenants have in Canada that means the owner doesn't, has either diminished or doesn't have a certain right, far more than you do in most of the states. So keep that in mind. A lot of Canadians come to the states to invest, um, probably because of pricing, but also because some of the states have very favorable owner laws that we don't have the same in Canada. You know,
Yeah,
I could go and teach a whole class on that, but we'll do that sometime. We'll talk about property management rules and regulations. How about if we do that? Maybe we'll do that in March or April.
sounds good.
Yep. Okay. So guys, what we're going to talk about right now is how we identify the people we're going to market to, So let me share my screen. So George, what Beverly's going to send you uses Post Canada and discover more videos on Facebook. I don't know why this wants me to do this, but I guess I didn't notice it before. All right, let me go reduce that and just hope that Facebook's going to work because we got a lot to cover. Okay, so this system comes from a company called Realeflow, and we have pretty much everything here. We don't do commercial through Realeflow anymore. If you please write this down, guys, this is new information. Some of you already know about it. There is a system called CIMLS. CIMLS. C as in Charlie, I as in Indiana, and then MLS as in your MLS. And it's an excellent commercial system that has national access to properties and so forth. And George, I'm not sure if it's in Canada because we just discovered it, thanks to Giselle on the team, but I haven't tried it. If you want to, George, try it. It's CIMLS and see what you get in up in Quebec there. Some stuff is actually will work in Ontario, but not in Quebec. It's just weird,
Yeah, so, I know.
Yep. So in any case, the first thing we want to do, guys, is this. We want to identify properties and owners of these properties that are more likely interested in speaking with us about selling a house. Okay. Now, I'm going to preface this with a little hint about something that's coming down the road here. 2 weeks ago, you all heard Naya talk about subject to purchasing, where you can purchase a property subject to the existing mortgage. Okay. Perfectly legal. People do it all over the country. It doesn't matter what state you're in. And I'm pretty sure, George, we can do this in Canada too, because all we have to do is put a property in trust, and then we can take buy the property subject to the existing mortgage. The only thing I'm not sure of is in Canada, of course, we don't sell our mortgages on the secondary market. There is no secondary market. So on just that part, we'd have to look into that part of it and see if there's any effect. But in any case, back to this, guys. I'm going to go through an exercise where I'm going to identify a group of owners, right? The property addresses and the owner's information that are more likely interested in selling. So what I want to do is call on maybe call on one of the guests here. So let's see who we have. Hey, Bill's here. Bill, good to see you, buddy. Bill went to high school in Vancouver, Washington, not Vancouver, BC, but hey, Tanya Pitch. If Tanya, go ahead and unmute yourself. Let me know if you wouldn't mind if I asked you to give me a zip code from where you are. And I picked your name because your last name is the first syllable in the name Pittsburgh, which is where I am right now. So I don't actually live here, especially in Beaver. But so Tanya, if you're there, go ahead and unmute yourself. If not, you may have yourself muted. I don't think you are. No, you're not muted. Oh, you are muted. There, ask to unmute. And nothing to be shy about. What we're going to do is what we'll do, Tanya, is we'll create a list of leads for you. We'll send it to you too. How about that?
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. So how about a zip code?
97449.
Excellent. Okay. Let's see if I know where this is. I'm
on the Oregon coast.
Beautiful. I love it out there. Yep. So Tanya, I'm going to eliminate apartments and the other category. Okay. And I'm going to focus on multifamily, townhome, condo, and single. Now, some of these you might not have a lot of. I know I've been to Oregon a couple of times. Lisa Sears is one of our team members and close friends, and she's out there. And I think you two may have actually spoken to each other, actually, now that I think about it. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Heather's up the coast from us. She's up in Salem and Albany area, along with DJ. Her name is Desiree. We call her DJ. So love the state. Beautiful, beautiful place. So we're going to focus on these types of properties. We're going to leave ownership types alone. We can be more selective, like just individual owners, but really a lot of properties are owned in LLCs. So businesses could be an LLC. Financial, of course, is your banks. Government, we know what that is. And of course, we all know what trusts are. So I leave these blank. They're all going to be candidates for ownership types. But here's
Okay.
where the real magic is. Okay. So Oregon's interesting, particularly certain parts of Oregon, like the southern part of Oregon. There are a lot of retirees there. A lot of people retire in that part of the country because it's
Mm-hmm.
relatively affordable. It's beautiful. I mean, you got the mountains close by, you've got the coast close by, you got this amazing Highway 5 that goes north and south and connects you with everything in between. So it's a great place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to where it says long-term owner. And if you ever wonder what these terms are, just hover over the question mark and it tells you what the criteria actually means. So in this case, long-term owner is anybody who's on the property 25 years or more. So if you think about that demographic, it could be 25 years, 30, 35, 40. A lot of them have probably paid off their mortgage and now they're paying their property taxes directly themselves because the property taxes are no longer escrowed and paid by the bank on behalf of the owner. So I'm going to choose long-term owner. Um, in fact, let's just start there and see what we get. So, Tanya, if the file is really big, sorry, this is one of their, they want us to buy something else kind of deals. Okay, I didn't like that. Sometimes your county doesn't keep this, or another thing we've seen across the country is the county has not brought in records, didn't start loading records to an online system till within 25 years. So anything back beyond that's not going to be recorded. We won't be able to see it. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to use another term, hang on one second, called board investor. You'll see active investor owned and board investor. And if I hover over the question mark, let's see, board investor actually means two things. Number one, it's an absentee owner, an absentee owned property. The owner doesn't live there. And number two, the property has been owned 10 years or more. Now, here's why this is important. Realeflow is smart. And we know from working with a lot of investors that usually after the 10th year, more investment properties are sold. The owners have depreciated them for 10 years, been through a couple tenants. Maybe they're fixing a place up and getting ready to sell it because prices are nice and high right now. But regardless, I'm looking for people that have owned it 10 years or more and do not live there. It's most likely a rental. So it's telling me there's 40 people like that in the zip code. Hey, Tanya, is that zip code, it's looking like here it's fairly remote. I'm guessing there's the population's, actually, do you know the population of the zip code there or can guess at it?
No, this one is pretty small, but we're pretty close to Coos Bay, which is much larger, and
Yeah.
that would probably pool quite a bit more interest here, or
Yeah.
that category would be quite a bit bigger.
Okay.
So it's little.
Well, it looks spectacular. Look, looks like a state forest inland a little bit. Then you got some lakes there, some Finger Lakes, and of course the
Yeah, we got
coast.
it all. We have the dunes, we have the ocean, we have rivers, we have waterfalls. It's an amazing property for recreational people or retired. You're right. There's a lot of retired folks that come here.
Okay. Well, cool. It's on my list of places to go. Officially, it looks pretty awesome. So, in any case, so we have a a list of 40 people. Um,
Okay.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and save this file for you. So, just for everybody here that's on the team, please really pay attention to this part. Again, you're going to get the recording. So, even if you're not on the team, if you were in class and registered, Beverly's going to send you a recording the next day. But what we have to do is save these leads, or first clear out what's already there. So, I'm going to go to these 24, remove all. Yep. Then go back and select all 40. If you notice, my leads now says 40. That's because I've now got these 40 leads technically saved, but not officially saved on my computer. So I'm going to do that now. So I'll click on that again. My leads is 40. And right here where I'm hovering is our download button. So I'm going to download that file. I'm going to use a standard file format. And by the way, this is pretty neat. From this file, this system's so slick and lets you create a custom Facebook audience. How about them apples? You know, but we're not going to do that now. We're going to focus on the actual, uh, you know, document. That's just going to be an Excel file. We're just going to do the overview. We don't really need to add any more to that. Any other features or criteria? Well, you can click on all these things if you want, but overview gives you quite a bit. So we're going to download all 40 of these, and then if you want to, Tanya, if you want to, go ahead and in the chat box, you can send it just to me if you want, your email address, and then remind me, I'm going to send you that file. It'll be a CSV file or
Okay.
CSV. Yeah, CSV. Then when you click on it to open it, it's going to give you an actual Excel spreadsheet. It'll have the layout and everything. It's pretty awesome.
Wonderful.
So,
Thank you.
oh, you're very welcome. Yeah. So here's why we like this system. See, we can click on any one of these here, right? And get all kinds of information. So this is a nice looking piece of property, 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, almost 1,200 square feet. And if we scroll down, lead flow, the calculator that does this tells us retail, that could probably be a $430,000 sale. Retail if it was in full marketable condition. For a rental property, that might get somewhere between 2,200 and 2,700 in rent. So, Tanya, does that sound about right? That rental
It
figure, is that
does.
range?
Yeah, that sounds very accurate.
Excellent. Okay. And then if it was to be wholesale, that would be, of course, a lot less, 280,000. We know the owner doesn't live there. We made that a criteria, so we know that. We know they've owned it more than 10 years. What's interesting is what we didn't know is they paid cash for it and they still own it free and clear. So this could be somebody that just decided, we don't care what you tell us, we're staying here. But they could also be somebody who's thinking, you know what, this is a lot to take care of. The kids are grown and gone. I might want to move to Arizona, Colorado, Texas, Nevada, wherever, you know. So we never guess what they're thinking. We always contact them, and I'll show you a little bit of how we actually contact them. And we see their mailing address is in Florence. It's a PO box in Florence. So I'm guessing they're renting this, or it's a second home for them, and they have all their mail going to a PO box near their home. Some people don't want mail coming to their personal address because that could, you know, they don't want a lot of people knowing their personal address is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
In any case, year built, we get 1970, so it's pre 1978. So you got to deal with the lead paint stuff, but that's okay. Property taxes, pretty darn low. That's really good. They bought it in 2014 for 170,000. So they might be retirees. Actually, they probably paid. Well, they did pay cash for it 10 years ago. But you never know. That's why we get this information. We're trying to look for things that we can use. We already went through the values. We have property condition, construction material conditions, and if there was a loan or loans, we would have all that information. So we can see there's no loan outstanding now, but in the past, there definitely were some loans, right? Mostly 30-year loans. We get to see who was involved, the date, the time frames, okay, when they got them. And then down below that, we actually have the deed recording history, right? So we can go all the way back to 2004. This person, Oregon Pacific Banking, that was a lender. Philip and Rhonda Castro were the buyer. The seller was Norlander Philip and Jesse Norlander, right? And then these guys actually looks like they took out a second loan for 50,000. Then they sold it to the current folks who actually did take out a loan. Maybe these are the ones that sold it in 2014 to these folks right here. Well, it's a trust actually. The Ardella Edwards Revocable Trust. Okay. Very interesting. All right. I would contact these people, Tanya. It looks like they're somewhat sophisticated. They know what they're doing. They understand trust. Chances are they are investors since they're using a trust. But the one thing I like about investors is they're usually more open to discussion than owner occupants. It's fear. They just, nope, I'm not interested. How'd you get my number? Please don't call me again. Things like that. Where investors are like, well, what do you have in mind? How can we
Yeah.
make this deal work for us? And that's why we like them. But in any case, that's definitely one I would follow up with. And if you want to, uh, Tanya, we have our own skip tracer that we use. She's in Pakistan. Lisa can send you her contact information. Her name's Ansa Khalil, and she does an excellent job for us. And instead of spending 10 or 15 cents a lead, I think we get it for like 3 or 4 or 5 pennies a lead. We get emails and phone numbers and everything.
Wonderful.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
Beautiful. That's amazing.
oh yeah, well we love this system. But in any case, so we just saved the file, and we can look at any of these that we want. We can adjust our search, so we can go back up here and say, there was only 40 people there. Let's try something else. And you can combine these. You can combine one or more criteria. You don't have to just pick one at a time. What I'm interested in seeing here is there anybody behind on property taxes? Now, see, here's something else. I'm wondering if the county there has chosen to not store that data or make it available to the general public.
Mm.
We could go to the county website that the zip code's in and see what they make available. In most counties around the country, you could pull up a record and see if that owner is current on the property taxes, or if they're behind, how far behind.
Right.
So, but in any case, 1 of 25 is 601. What did I actually choose here? I don't know that I actually chose anything.
You took off the filter, so it's picked everything.
So what that means is, there's only 601 records there. Okay. But that could be definitely a captive audience. So what we do is we take this file. Okay. Now, let's say you are working with investors. Okay. And you're trying to get these folks interested in selling, and maybe one of their objections is, where am I going to buy something else and get a 3% mortgage? I've got no mortgage on this. I don't want to buy anything else. I'd have to sell this to buy it. And if they refinance it to pull cash out or got a home equity line, they'd have a much higher interest rate. But there's things that you can do, like subject to. You can buy a property subject to the current mortgage or assume a current mortgage, as long as it's VA, USDA, or FHA. And there's a lot of loan types that are assumable within those categories. You have to qualify these days. You can't assume a mortgage like you could, a generation ago without qualifying. You have to qualify now, just like you qualify for a brand new first mortgage, right? Well, let's say you're working with someone who is an investor. I would go right down here, with taking your laptop with you, of course, go down to the Analyze tab. And you see there's a deal analyzer, a repair estimator, and a rehab planner. So, like, if you go to the repair estimator, you might be talking to an owner and they're saying, well, when we bought this, we intended to replace the roof, the kitchen, the bathroom, the windows, and re-landscape. And so far, all we've done is the windows and roof. We never got to the inside. You could bring up this tool here. Let me see if I can find a good example of one. Let's try this one here. This is 265 Gilchrist Street. I'm not sure where that is, but these could be anywhere in the country. You can show them how you can analyze a potential remodeling project, and what it would cost and so forth to do it. Now somebody filled it in, but let's just see. Here we go. Okay. Took a while to load it up. So in this repair estimate, I just want to show you how this works. This is just an example, not really tied to any particular property we're looking at tonight. But we can see there's some demolition work that we believe is going to cost about $2,400 or $2,500. Now, some of these things can be pre-filled by the vendor, and they actually are. and it's smart enough to know where you are, so it gives you values that are commensurate with your area. Okay. You can see they need a fiber cement siding. That's interesting for $23,000, right? A lot of times, all you do is you give it the square footage, and it calculates what it is per square feet based on the cost of material and labor too, by the way. So in any case, then you come down here to exterior finishing. There's a lot of painting here at $10,000 in painting. Scroll down, exterior painting total. Then you've got hardwood. This is flooring, the flooring section. 13,000 in hardwood. Holy smokes. And that's just about right. $4.60 a square foot. How about that? Laminate hardwood. Okay, interior bathroom. Looks like they're doing a complete full bath replace for 12,600. Nothing on that one. And the total is 61,104. Now, they didn't add any contingency stuff here. I would actually add some miscellaneous things, because I know the larger the project, the more likely things will go sideways, right? Timing, cost, all kinds of stuff. The scope of the project will change. But can you imagine having this with you when you're meeting a client, a prospective client in a Starbucks or a Panera Bread or in their home or at a subject property, and you pull out your computer and go right through the project right in front of them? Do you think that might win over some friends and contacts and clients?
Yeah.
Yep, you got it.
Yes.
So we love this tool. These are some of the things you can do. You can also do the deal analyzer. Like, let's say you do the rehab, okay? Then you go to the deal analyzer. I wish that I remembered that address. Let's see if we have it here for somebody. Let's just do one of the first ones. Here, let's grab this one. These are from 2 or 3 months ago, it looks like. November, December, January, February, 4 months ago. Okay. And you have to tell it if it's a flip, if it's a buy and hold, or is it a lease option. This one's a buy and hold. You're going to click next. You go through and you start plugging in your values. You know what you would buy the property for, what the as-is value is. The assessed value, that's definitely high for most parts of the country. Let's see here. Scroll down. There's going to be another category. Out-of-pocket cost. You want to put that in usually in terms of percentages. Well, what you do is you go through this whole thing. Okay. Even as financing in here. At the end, you can send this to yourself or others, or just save it. This is if you were going to rent it out. Excuse me. Then there's holding costs. Okay. Then finally you get to the report section. And this is where you can either download, save a report, download it. You can do both. You can send this to someone. But that's, again, something else you want to show people while you're in front of them. But in any case, let me go back up here real quick. By the way, I'm interested in any of the new folks on the team since between Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you have not been on Realeflow yet, please type in the chat box and just type "not yet." And if you have not yet been on Realeflow, please set up a call. If you're in the engage group with Rob, set up a call with Rob. If you're not, set up a call with me. Either one of us can show you, help you get through the setup of Realeflow. So in any case, I'm going to go here to marketing library. And we do use these sometimes, but we have our own team letter I'm going to show you guys in about a minute. I just want to show you what all is out here. We've got all these postcards for different audiences, like absentee owner with a vacant property, absentee owner that's rented out, people that pay cash, like the guy we just looked at, paid cash for his property, people with adjustable rate mortgages. You know, they bought low thinking they're set, and all of a sudden rates went from 3 to 7. You know, when their mortgage adjusts, their mortgage payment's going to go up. Okay. In any case, we have all of these. Okay. Bunches of them with different looks and different feels. There's all kinds of neat brochures. I like the brochures a lot. Professional. You can edit them here and customize them. But really the real value of these letters, and there's letters for every type of owner. And I believe at last count, there was 54 letters, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11, that's 44 or 40, 47 letters. Okay. All look like they're handwritten. I mean, you can pull up any of these here. This is the cash buyer one, right? Kind of fuzzy, but that's what it looks like. You don't need the border. You don't have to have that. So you can use all these letters, right? Or anyone that you choose. And if you go here to direct mail, and I'm not going to go through the setup of direct mail, but you can see there's campaigns out here that people are building. Like here's one. It's incomplete with 252 recipients. And you can have the system send out your mailing for you on your behalf. And it's actually less expensive per piece to do that. You get cost savings by having Realeflow do your mailings for you. Okay. Now, before I jump to our team website and go into the marketing campaign, I'm going to go into detail on tonight. Any questions on Realeflow? Okay. Sorry to pick something up. We can always come back to it. Just because we're moving to a different site right now doesn't mean you can't ask questions on Realeflow. We can definitely come back to it. So let's see here. What some of the responses are we got. Lisa Sears would like the team materials better. Yeah, thanks, Lisa. What's interesting is the letter I'm going to show you guys is one of our team letters, and it actually outperforms the Realeflow letters. So, Mike Koppel, I know you've got your hands full, buddy, but whenever you feel like you can carve out a half hour, just hook up with either Rob or I, and then we'll help you out on Realeflow. Okay. And Sarah, same thing, Sarah. I know we just had a call a couple weeks ago, Sarah, but go ahead and set up another one because I think based on what you told me in our last one-on-one, you're ready for something like this. We just need to help you get through the implementation of it. Okay. Let's see. This is from Rob. This is back to the property that's currently in the trust. It says the owners will likely own the trust, Trevor. So reach out to them directly. Trust will also be on the deed. You can check out the county offices for that. Okay. How do we find contact information on trust? Yeah, there's usually somebody involved with the trust is somebody in the know. Like I'm a trustee for my friends Rick and Anna, so they know more about the business than I do, but I know enough to be able to speak to people if they should call or email me or send me a letter. Let's see back.
Can I add something?
Yes.
To the trust thing? Because I don't think Eric's going to say anything, but I know he'd agree. So I think, knowing that he would agree, if number one, they really are investors, if they're sophisticated, you won't be able to find the owner of the trust.
Yeah.
Because they'll layer the trusts.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to find them if they know what they're doing.
Yeah. But what we do is we get the owner's mailing address, because you know how the Realeflow we get the subject property and there's always an owner's address. It's usually a PO box. And the reason is that the tax mailings have to go somewhere. So what we're looking for, I'm sorry, go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, but the thing is they know how to hide all that. Like they won't, if they have it in a trust, it's so they can't be found. It's right. So that, the whole purpose of it is anonymity and privacy.
Yeah. Well, that's why
that's all I'm saying is that if they do it properly, then you won't find them.
Yeah.
Because they're layering all their trusts.
Yeah.
So their trustees are all going to be different, and they're not going to be found.
Yeah. But what we do though is there's always an address, usually a PO box, where the county government has to send information related to the subject property.
Yes.
So that's what we look for. And we know we're not going to have a name because they're not going to tell us a name, but we just tell them, hey, I'm Gary
Yeah.
Wilson. I'm in the area. I'm
Yes.
interested in this property. Would you
It'll get
please
to
contact me?
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and usually, like in most investor relationships, it's actually going to be the investor themselves. If they're interested in seeing what you have to offer, they'll be the ones to call you, you know. So, but the beautiful thing about trust is, you know, you can transfer the beneficial rights of the trust from one party to another, right? And the property, the physical property stays inside the trust. So it doesn't kick off all those processes at the county and state level. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to using trust, guys. LLCs work, but there's no better body of law than trust law. It's the probably one of the oldest forms of law that in the English world. And by the way, if you're ever curious about, well, what if the government changes the trust law? Well, think about all the years we've been alive, and every 4 years there's a presidential election, and they're all saying we're going to raise taxes on the rich or we're going to lower taxes on the rich, depending on what party they're in. They're going to say we're going to crack down on businesses and blah, 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 blah. Has anybody here ever heard any politician anywhere say, oh, yeah, we're going to rewrite those darn trust laws? It'll never happen because guess who uses them? They do. Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, look no further than the Clinton Foundation. That's a big, giant trust. You know, that's what it is. So, in any case, you can rest assured, trust law is going to be here at least for our lifetime. I'm pretty sure, and it's an excellent way to conduct business, keep things quiet, and also it's a great way to manage your tax burden correctly, legally and correctly. So, in any case, little side note on trust there. All right, on the team website, for those of you who are new to the team, just join. The marketing tab is one place you're going to be spending a lot of time on. All right. There are calculators, our spreadsheets, our tools for the team. Under the tools tab, websites. We have lots of websites for researching people and properties and just about everything you want to know. Banks also, we can tell you what banks have foreclosures and pre-foreclosures. We have a newsletter. By the way, just a reminder, the newsletter that we create is not for us to give to our consumers. It's for you, the agents on the team, to copy or clone for your clients. So you don't have to go through all the effort of building one. Just copy ours. That's what we paid for it for. There's links to the brokerage, all the tools and systems there. GIA team resources. These are things that are more sensitive, like our scripts, certain training, coaching. Everybody here gets, we all get coach one-on-one, of course. We have our own 90-day fast start program. I'm not going to spend time on any one of these things. I'm just doing this for the benefit of the folks that have just joined the team. So if you're new to the team, first thing you'll do is the VGAP, Vision, Goals, Action Plans.
Oh, come on.
The first 90 days, we scroll down. Everything in red is an action item. And the beautiful thing is between Gina, Rob, and I is we actually guide you through the process. Okay. It's guided training where you implement what you learn as you build it. Okay. So in any case, our training programs, and of course, there's 6 of them, including commercial, buying rentals, managing rentals, flipping, everything. Investor agents where we start, by the way. We got our own AI tools and scripts. Okay. But back here in marketing, all right, here's the purpose of tonight's class. So George, this is where you want to start taking notes. And George, Beverly, please send out the letter tomorrow with the checklist for how to use the letter campaign, if you could, please. I think we have the letter campaign packaged up. We can send that link out to everyone. So folks that are not on the team will have access to it. But let me show you the letter campaign. Okay. These are all of our 21 copyright protected marketing campaigns. And the letter is one of the very first ones. Here it is. So you've got audio, video, education. That's by the way, the family rocking chair that I'm sitting in there in that video. In any case, there's also written instructions. There's the letter itself and a checklist to follow. We even have our own nurturing campaigns. Okay. By the way, there's another letter that we call the letter to apartment owners. This is more of a commercial style letter that's intended for larger owners, bigger investors that have more, multiple properties and, 10 unit, 20 unit, 50 unit buildings and so forth. The letter we're going to look at tonight is the one that's it says letter template. Okay. So let's bring that up and we'll break it down for you. Hi, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for participating in the Massive Passive Cash Flow podcast. Also wanted to let you know that the book Global Investor Agent is officially out in print and in Kindle on Amazon. You can get it by clicking on the link right here. If you are an agent, definitely grab yourself a copy. This book, guys, was not just written by me. I also included 8 other investor agents from around the country. And I didn't just handpick them. I literally opened it up to the entire audience, and it was first come, first serve. So you're going to get feedback from brand new agents all the way up to top 25 team leaders. Some on my team, some are not on my team, with valuable insight and instructions and guidance and actual checklist to follow to not just survive but thrive in this market. I know you're looking for that advantage, and this is it. By the way, if you are an investor, grab a copy for your agent. And for everybody, all profits from the sale of the book, Kindle and print, all go to the Healing House Foundation. Okay, let me open this up. So we first give you one that's completely filled out, so you see how it looks when it's ready to go. And down below there is the actual blank template. Okay. Now, you do have to provide your own signature block. Your name, business name, tagline, your address, phone number, email, the whole 9 yards. Okay. And I suggest you always hand sign all of your outgoing mail. Hand sign. Now the letter itself, the way this works, I'm gonna go into Tanya's file. Hang on one second here, so this will all make sense to you. So we just downloaded that, and here it is right here. So I'm going to first click on it to take it to an Excel format, and then I'm going to open it up. If you look here, so Tanya, these are all those 40 leads we got for you. Now, the first set of columns is the owner's first and last name and their mailing address. You'll see PO boxes, lots of PO boxes. So a lot of these properties, I'm guessing, Tanya, are vacation homes or just straight rentals. Excellent. Yeah, it looks like a really beautiful area. Yeah. In any case, then the zip code, and over here is the actual subject property. Column G is the subject property address, the property we're actually looking into. It might not necessarily be the owners. Like here's one. Paul Walker, number 7, lives in Arizona, and that's his address there. And the property address is in Lakeside, Oregon. So these letters we're looking at, you would reference the second address, reference the subject property in the letter, but mail it to the owner's the recipient's address, right? No matter what it is, PO box or home address. That's how you use this file, right? Now, and by the way, each column has a heading that tells you what is in the column. If we go back here to the letter, all right, I'm going to enable editing. You, of course, would delete the letter original words in bold ink. Now, letter template, excuse me. Now, what's interesting, if you look here where it says dear first name, okay, if we go back here, you can see first name is the first column. And in the letter, it's in brackets. So the way this tool works, and this is one of the best things. This is not a team tool. It's not an EXP tool. It's just the way Microsoft Office products work. I can take this letter, right? And right here where it says mailings, I can click on that. Come over here, right, to select recipients. So I click that. We're going to use an existing list. Okay. And then I can go into here and downloads. and get my list. Where did that list go? Oh, I must be. You know what I might be in? That should be the right place. In any case, you get your. I don't think it has to be in Word. It can be an Excel spreadsheet. Um, I just have no idea where it is. Let me see if I can do a sort here. 12, 2d6.
Think you saved the spreadsheet, Gary?
I'm pretty sure it was in the downloads. Let me go back here real quick. I don't want to take a lot of time looking for this thing. Downloads, LLP dash export. Okay, let's go do that again. Downloads, LP. It's not finding it for some reason. I wonder if I'm.
Is it in your Excel spreadsheet at the bottom of your tabs there? You just had it open.
Well, I can find it directly myself. Like I'm here, there it is right there. You know?
Okay.
Go file, save as, and see where it tells you it's put it.
There you go. You guys see why I like having you guys? Oh,
I'm not even a
save.
Windows guy.
Yep. Let's do browse. And let's do downloads and Tanya's file. The features, you also want to save. Yes, we want to do that. Okay, now I want to actually go through this. Let me cancel and then start again. So select recipients, use existing list. Downloads. There we go. Bingo. Yay. So open that up. We just need to do read only. Okay. Let's see. Select the encoding, make sure document readable. Other Windows default. I'm not really sure what to do here, but let's just try this. Oh no, that didn't work. I don't like that. Let's do that. Okay. Select OK. Now, when you do start mail merge, we're going to do letters. Okay. Actually, we have a normal Word document. Sorry, we're going to do that. And what will happen is, actually, what I'm supposed to do is delete all of this up top and only have the template involved there. But what it's going to do, guys, it's going to take from every row, every record in the Excel spreadsheet, is going to take the first name and plop it into the actual name, Jane, John, what have you, right? And then fill in the rest, the address, the city, right, type of property, and then crank out 40 letters, 40 individual Word documents all ready to print. Okay. Now you can have a digital signature to plug in there yourself. I prefer to hand sign them with blue ink. Okay. And also prefer to hand write the recipient's address on the letter, sorry, on the envelope. Okay. So let me do a quick
Hey,
pause
Gary?
here. Yes, sir.
Yes, on just for clarification, in the letter, folks, when you see, like you said, dear, open bracket, first name, close bracket, or whatever that's called, you just have to make sure that that's when that says first name, that
Yes.
your spreadsheet has to have the title of that column has to be exactly the same with spaces and everything. So on the first line there where it says address on the spreadsheet, if I remember right, I think it says, what does it say, subject address? Or what does it say? It says
Yeah.
property address.
Recipient address.
Recipient address. But if you're replying to regarding your property at, okay,
Yep.
then you would that would say property address in there.
Yep.
So you would
exactly
have to
right.
change that. So you change it on the spreadsheet so that it's an exact match, because mail merge won't work otherwise.
Yeah. And thanks, Rob, for pointing out, because I actually just didn't said it wrong. It's actually not column C. It is column G, property address. Yep. You're absolutely correct. Because remember, in the letter, we're referring to the subject property. On the envelope, we put the recipient's address, but inside of the letter, we put the subject property, which is property address. So we'd have to change that to say property address. And then a city would be, let's change that back here, property city, okay? Right, so that would be in the letter back here. This would say property space city, right? In any case, this is how you do this. This is how we create letters. And by the way, since I've got you here, let me just read this letter off. And you can see, first off, there's no letterhead. I know some of you might be thinking, why would we do a letterhead? Because we've tested it. And when you have a letterhead and a letter, you're going to have a higher trash basket rate. As soon as people see something like that, like, oh, it's another one of those, and they just toss it. Okay. But if they see their name first, dear Clay, right? Dear Bill, dear Tanya, and in the first sentence, we're naming their property. I mean, and I'll tell you why personally this works, because it worked on me. I received this letter years ago. Slightly different. It was a little bit too wordy, too many paragraphs. But I got the thing is they got my attention because they mentioned me by first name and mentioned my property in the first sentence. And my first thought was, uh-oh, what's wrong with my property? Right? That's not what they intended, but that's what I thought, because I had a lot of properties. And I'm thinking, oh boy, somebody did something wrong. But in any case, let me go through this and you'll see why we like this letter. Why Lisa said the same thing. This is better than even the Realeflow letter. So, dear Clay, I'm writing to you about your property located at 17 Elm Lane in Etna. I'm not suggesting you sell your property if you don't want to. Okay. Now, what did we actually just suggest there subconsciously?
Your property.
Sell your property. Yep. We don't say let's see what your property's worth. What we're intending for them to do, if they're in the right state of mind to do so, is to sell the property. So let's go ahead and suggest that. Okay. Then we say, however, inventory is tight right now, and boy, is that ever true. And I have clients like Mr. Matajasic, who is a real person. So, guys, this letter, I know you can change this letter and you can take out certain words, but if you use this letter correctly, it's because you do have buyers already looking for a property like this. Like you understand who your buyers are, you know what their needs and wants are. So we actually get their permission to use their name. Just you don't need all of them, just one of them, right? If they're an investor, they're going to be like, great, yeah, whatever you can to get a good deal for me. Okay, and then we continue. Who want to buy a property, in this case, a 4-unit building, just like yours in your area. That's why I specifically sought you out. Laser beam focus, right? If you notice, am I using anything in here like dear neighbor, dear friend, all of you, all you guys, anything like that in plural?
No.
Not once. Everything's in the singular. You or your is in here, okay? Even if you're just curious about what your property would sell for, right? There it is again. Please let me know. In any case, we use the word you or your 11 times in these 6 lines. That's a powerful letter. The word you or your, it's going to the subconscious mind. This is about me. This is about me. This is about me. This is about me 11 times. And we did the embedded command, what your property would sell for. Not to mention, we mentioned the property specifically, them specifically, and we even said, that's why I specifically sought you out. In fact, it's one of the only times in this letter I'm using the word I or I'm, okay? And nowhere in here that I ever mentioned anything about my credentials and how many years I've been in the business and all that stuff. If they're interested in what I'm offering them, which is a solution, then they might be interested in my credentials. Would you guys agree, or I mean, give me your thoughts. I want your opinions, guys. And
Hey, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I got some feedback on this, and I just want to. I'm going to say I used this, and I didn't think it would work, and I just did it just because you're telling us to do it. And this was a couple years ago, and I'm going to go back actually, and I'm going to do this week. But I sent out a very targeted group of, I'm going to say about 20 people that I specifically targeted. And I sent it out, and I went on vacation. I came down to Florida, and I'm here now, but this was a couple years ago. And I'm telling you, within the day that they received it, I got a call and said, I got your letter. And I got back and we talked, and it turns out that they were going to sell that house, and it was a $650,000 home. And
Mhm.
I looked at it on the list and I thought, well, man, that would be nice if that came in. And we came within hours of getting the papers signed. But what happened is a family member intervened and they wanted to buy the property. And
Okay.
the guy told me, he goes, man, that I was ready to ink the deal with you, and I lost that one, but man, that got me fired up.
Yeah.
I did it a couple more times, and I did actually close a deal out of that very letter that we're looking at. I sent it out again, and I got a hit on it. And then it wasn't a huge listing. It was like I think two and a quarter, but that was good enough for me. It paid for the stamp, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, this works. It does work. I've done it, and it does work.
Well, what's interesting, I'm gonna sweeten the pot a little bit. Thanks, Jeff, for sharing.
Yep.
If you think about it, marketing usually is following a marketing plan. Here, let me just go back, and this will make a lot more sense.
Let me add to that too.
Yep.
I've I used it for like commercial properties, but I tweaked it a little bit, just a little. But anyway, for my first 100 that I sent out, I did get one response.
Yep.
So
Well,
just
here's the way this letter works, guys. If you just use it once, you're not going to get hardly any results. Like all marketing, you have to be consistent and persistent. So these are the instructions, and you can write this down and cast it in stone, because if you do anything less than this, you're going to get lesser results. So this letter you have to send out 12 times, unless or until someone responds to you, right? And when they do respond, you can drop them for the next mailing. Your mailings will reduce over time because you have more and more responses. Now, there's a lot of nuances here, but I don't want to go into the weeds. I just want to let you know that we actually do get very specific on our audience. And you can send this letter to people going through probate, divorce, all kinds of things. But we never change the letter. We never say, Dear Clay, I'm sorry to hear about your pending divorce. Don't ever do that. So we've had people do that, by the way. Don't ever do that. It's not meant to. It's meant to give us information, which is an advantage. It's not meant to put them on the spot, right? Because that's weird. If you got a letter of somebody saying, "Hey, I'm sorry to hear about your pending divorce," you'd probably be thinking, "Who else knows about this? Or how do they know about this?" And their frame of mind is not going to be, "Gee, I'm gonna work with Tanya or Karen or Jeff or Gary." They're going to be like, "Hey, how did you know that?" That's their frame of mind. What we want to do is use the wording in that letter, the embedded commands, right? The language patterns, to get them in a yes state of mind, positive state of mind, and open to suggestion. That's what the letter does. Okay. Now, having said that, there are questions of frequency come up a lot. Well, okay, I'm going to send it 12 times, Gary. Is that once a month for 12 months, or is it once a week for 12 weeks? Or it actually varies. So you have to think about the audience. And I don't think this is written down anywhere. I could be wrong. But I know, for example, in a lot of cases, you'll want to send this letter every week for 4 weeks initially, in a lot of cases, okay? Because that's when they're making decisions, things are moving fast, all kinds of things, particularly in the case of someone passing away, and then there's a potential probate. You don't want to wait for those. You want to send that letter right away and send it every week for 4 weeks. And if you still don't have a response, then you can send it every other week for 2 months, which is 4 more mailings. So now you've sent 8 mailings, okay? And then the last one will be once a month until or unless they respond, or the 12th letter has been sent. You're not going to get responses from everybody. It's just not going to happen. We've had some really high response rates in certain circumstances. And I wish I could tell you what the winning formula was, but it's like you just don't know. Just listen, while you play baseball, you swing at all the good pitches because you don't know which one's going to hit. But in any case, we've had neighborhoods We've had, 50% callback rate is 50% of the recipients call you. We've had 25% callback rates, but for the most part, you're going to be well under 10%, even after 12 mailings. I mean, you'll be lucky if you get 5 or 6 or 7%. And chances are, when it's all said and done, you'll have about a 3 or 4% conversion rate. So now that sounds like a lot of work, but think about the consequences. If you don't do stuff like this, you're at the mercy of the market. You don't have to do choice over who you work with. The market's going to dictate who you work with. And you might not want to work with all those people. But when you do this, remember, you might have 3.75 listings out of 100 letters that you sent out 12 times. And you may have spent 60 times 12 is $720 on paper, stamps, and envelope. Okay. But for $720, you're getting 3.75 listings. Who thinks that's a good deal? Yeah, man. I would do that any day of the week. The reason why a lot of people don't do it is because it looks like what? It's a 4-letter word. Looks like work. Yep, and it is. I wish I could tell you guys there's a magic formula. It's not. It's being consistent and persistent with your marketing. So here's what I want to show you real quick here. See this where it says step-by-step guide, right? Step-by-step marketing guide. It's actually a marketing sequence document. Okay. And if you open it up, it tells you exactly what you do first, second, and third. So that you always build your database first. Okay. And thanks, Rob, for the edits. We really appreciate that. Your first campaign is going to be a booklet campaign. We'll save that for another class. But really, what's not in here is when you set up your database, it should say turn on monthly market update. Carte blanche, 100%, no questions asked. Everybody in your database should get a monthly market update. So you build your database and you start communicating with them in an automated way. Then you get into the second level, or what we call marketing, that's beyond the basics. So the booklet campaign we can either do as a physical mailing, or you could save it and send it to people electronically. So I prefer the latter. I'm all about being frugal. So I'll send booklets to people in a text message and a Facebook post, LinkedIn, Instagram, emails, you name it. Okay. So these are all the instructions for the letter campaign. I'm sorry, this is the marketing sequence document. Sorry, I didn't show the checklist yet for the letter. But in here, it tells you which marketing you should be doing at level 1. This is level 1, like letters. We just went over the letter campaign, right? Booklets, email marketing. You're doing that really with your monthly market update. And right now, I would say don't do any print media for the time being. It does work. It's just not, you're not going to get the results you used to. You can use Craigslist in US and Canada, and you can use Kijiji also up in Canada if you're a fellow Canuck. So in any case, level 2 is a little bit more advanced. This is where we are getting into Facebook, YouTube, things like that. All right. Level 3 is more advanced. This is where we're doing workshops, blogs, podcasts, joint ventures with other business owners, things like that. And then finally, we can get you on like local television, radio, doing bus tours and so forth. Almost nobody ever gets to this point because it's just not necessary. If you get into level 2 marketing, chances are you're doing pretty good. Okay. Level 3 is if you're building your own team, or you're expanding across state lines and things like that. Okay. So in any case, that's the marketing sequence document. And I'm going to show you one more thing here, and then we can open up for Q&A. Right here it says client and marketing graphics. It's just a real simple visual way for you to remember 2 really important things. The how you categorize your clients, level 1, 2, and 3, level 1 being inner circle, level 2 being the next level of people that you know them, but they're not like your closest friends. Okay. Level 3 and your client and your contact list, is everybody else. Okay. Then you got your marketing categories. Level 1 is straight up conversation, either in person or over the phone. Okay. Level two is still direct, but it's you know it's a little bit less personal. You're texting, emailing, things like that. Okay. Level three, these are things like you know, letters, booklets, things like that. Um, uh, Social media, you know, targeted marketing, LinkedIn, things like that. Okay. The level four is pretty much everything that's just general purpose. You're speaking to everybody. And quite frankly, my philosophy is if you're not speaking, if you're trying to speak to everybody, you're not really speaking to anybody. You know, it's like the old saying when you run like a charitable organization. If you ask something of everybody, you'll likely get nothing from anybody. But if you ask specific people specific things, you'll likely get what you want. So that's the pictorial way of looking at all this. All right, let me do a stop share. We can open up the view again. Now, I know just covered a lot, but I'm going to keep it to just that tonight, guys. There's more we have to go over, different subjects. Um, like next Monday, let's see, Monday the 19th. Next Monday, we're going to switch gears and talk about how you farm your area for more traditional marketing, not necessarily investor focused, but how do you get listings from your neighborhood, for example? We're going to go over that next week. But for tonight, I want to show you how you get your leads, how you save them, and how you market them. Now, one more thing on the letter. I mentioned that you want to send it 12 times, okay? There are things you can do to enhance the results of using the letter. And one of those things is every third or fourth letter, you can include something else in there. For example, if I know I'm sending 72 letters to 72 people that own 4-unit buildings and my response rate is low, on the fourth mailing, I'm going to include a one-page summary from the MLS on 4-unit buildings in the area, what's active, what's pending, and what's sold. Well, I can show those owners, hey guys, or I would say, hey, you know, Bob, I know you haven't responded to my letter. That's okay. I just want to show you why my client, Mr. Menajasic, is so interested in your property. Look at the data on fourplexes in your area. You know, now are you interested to see what your property would sell for relative to these? And I would tell them, you don't have to sell. Let's just see what it would sell for. And the more I do that, the more people I know are going to kind of change gears and say, yep, let's take a look at that. Okay. You can also put in there, and this is very risky, but I've done it. I would print off on a one page a summary sheet of my clients, last name only, that are actively in the buying game. And I would highlight in yellow the ones who are looking for multifamily properties. I would say, these are the 6 people looking for multifamily properties, just like yours in your area. And that verbiage was the same verbiage I put in the letter. You see what I'm saying? So they're hearing the same thing repeatedly, little tidbits here and there over a period of days and weeks and months. And at the end of the day, the best thing you could ever do if you really want to get results is call them after you sent them the letter. So let's say today's Monday, you send a letter out tomorrow, you should call them the following Monday. And I mean call them. I don't mean text them, email them, call them, right? And I know there's lots of veterans on the call here. Would you agree that if you combine something like the letter with a follow-up phone call, your odds of success are going to go up dramatically? Who would say that's a true statement? Amen. I'm telling you. You know, it's like the fundamentals never go out of style. So we combine phone calling, which is a fundamental activity, with a level 1 marketing campaign. And if you look at the two graphics, right, let's go back to that graphic document. Here it is, okay? If we combine level 1 clients, people we know the best, with level 1 marketing, which is direct communication. Now compare that level 1 to level 1 activity with, say, a level 1 client, but a level 3 marketing effort, which is letters and booklets and social media and stuff like that. Which one do you think is going to give us the highest return on investment of time, energy, and money? Level 3 marketing with a level 1 client, or level 1 marketing, i.e. direct conversation, with a level 1 client? Just call out, just unmute yourself, call out which one do you think is going to give you, whoops, hang on a second. You know what? I had turned off my screen share. Let me turn that
Level
back
Level
on.
one, make the call.
Level one.
1-1.
Yeah.
Hands down, flat out. You just can't compare. You do need to do the other marketing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you want to send out booklets every month to these people, right? I mean, you want to keep them engaged. Front of mind presence is where it's at. That's the game. When people say your database is your gold, okay, right here, GOLD. This is your goal, right? It doesn't happen by itself. It happens because we're really good at keeping our records current and up to date, and we're really good at communicating with them and engaging them. So, in any case, I just want to drive that point home. So, the letter, remember, the letter, you can stuff something else in there every 3 or 4 letters. A list of your clients by last name with the highlighted people looking for their type of property, a summary sheet of what's active, pending, and sold. And you know something else that's really easy to do? Go look and find an article online. Just Google real estate news, right, for Southern Oregon, something like that, or just real estate news for United States, real estate news for Quebec. Okay, download that and include that in your letter, right? Print it off and say, "I just want to show you a recent article, very relevant and very timely, based on what we're trying to accomplish here." In any case, I'm going to stop talking for just a minute because I want to let you guys digest that and finish up your notes. And if you have questions, I'll stay on a little bit longer here. We got about 10 minutes before it's 8:30 Eastern. But guys, if you need to stay on, just speak up. Don't be shy.
Gary, I got a question that's unrelated to what you just talked about.
Okay.
Today we talked about the monthly mastermind. It was happening on the 14th. And you talked about maybe scheduling it to the 15th. Are you still planning to have it on the 14th?
We're going to have it on the 14th. And what's funny is I'm an old school Virginia gentleman, romantic, and even though I'm going to be with my mom on Valentine's, so I thought, well, I still might want to do something special for mom. But what's funny, there must be a lot of single people or people who are married too long, because most people asked, no, let's go ahead and just have the meeting. So what we'll do is, guys, thank you for bringing it up, guys. If you have plans for Wednesday night with your loved ones, absolutely stick with your plans. There's nothing more important than your family and your loved ones. You'll see me again. I mean, we'll meet again. We meet every Monday night, of course. We meet on the monthly team calls, once a month, and we have the morning sessions with Gina. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to talk to us. You can also get the recording. So if you Wednesday night, come on aboard. If it's just you and your dog or your cat, feel free. I'll be there. Okay. I had mom dinner with mom earlier, and if you do have plans, romantic plans, absolutely take advantage of them. Do that. I mean, I'm telling you, that's an order. That's an order. So have to have time with your loved ones. So in any case, for those of you not on the team, we do meet once a month, the entire group, not just 30 or 40 people. But what we do is we go over high level strategy, stuff that we can all use, no matter what part of the country in. We do sometimes customize things for different parts of the country, but for the most part, what we do, the rules of the game really don't change no matter where you are. Like Georgia's up in Montreal, and I've been there. I've taught classes there before. And Georgia, I'm trying to remember that little island. It's West Montreal. I just can't think of the name of it to save my life there, but it's one of the most English speaking parts of Montreal. Probably the most English speaking part of Montreal. I remember that. But in any case, these things don't change. We use these same tools in Canada just like we use in the States. It's just the lead sourcing, the data part that's different. Okay. And it holds true for the United States too. Everything we do here, we've used in all the states. I've taught students from all 50 United States and 48 of them in person, the United States, and 3 Canadian provinces. And I've been doing it for 38 years. And are there differences? Absolutely. There's differences between people, between provinces and states and everything. but not enough to dramatically change a strategy. The strategies are pretty solid and pretty sound. So we go over that big picture stuff. Here's what we see happening now. Here's what the way the trend is going, what's coming down the road, and how do we prepare for it. So we usually prepare way in advance. And I'm just going to give you a big giant hint here. Okay. We had Naya teach for us 2 weeks ago about subject to. We're going to have someone else come on the 26th, not next Monday, the Monday after, to talk about assumptions. How can we assume mortgages? Which mortgages can we assume? Right. And then a tool that they developed for helping you figure out who those people are, their houses, and which ones are assumable. Pretty neat stuff, right? So, in any case, that's the 26th. Now, why are we doing this?
There's a website you can go to, Gary.
What's that?
There's a website you can go to see which mortgages are assumable.
Correct. Yep. Absolutely. So, in any case, it's because we see strategically, if we position ourselves to serve that part of the community, the buyer and seller community, we're going to be getting more business. And the underlying data is just, it's self-evident. We had a few years of rapidly increasing property values with people outbidding each other, going way above market value, and waiving appraisals and inspections and things like that. Okay. Now, nobody can ever tell you when we're going to pay the piper for that. But you can rest assured we're going to pay the piper for it. And it's probably coming. I'm gonna guess next year, could be later this year. Depends on it's an election year. So there's a wild card there. The Fed is going to support whatever parties in power at the time. So the Fed's saying right now, we're going to lower rates 6 times this year. I don't think so. I think they're going to lower rates twice. I could be completely wrong. That's just my opinion. I think if they lower rates more than 3 or 4 times, they're going to do us a disservice. We have to go through what we're going to go through to get back to an equilibrium type market. So, and there's other things that have to be done, of course. But what I'm getting at is this: as the economy starts to turn, and it's been starting to turn for a little over a year now. When you start to see layoffs in the financial sector, in technology, which we've already seen, then it starts bleeding over into other industries. Like I'm sure you heard last week, it was last week before, UPS laid off 12,000 people. Okay. In any case, when we see those things, some of those people own homes, and some of them bought those homes 3 and 4 years ago when they overpaid, and they got a beautiful 3% mortgage, but now they're going to have to let that go. Well, that mortgage can be assumed by one of our buyers. And if your buyer's wondering, well, where am I going to go? If I sell my home through an assumption, where am I going to go? How am I going to get a 3% mortgage? Well, the same thing. You're going to assume a loan, or you're going to buy a property subject to. So we're preparing for that. In fact, I'll just tell you, Karen and Eric are leading the charge in that effort. Okay. So what we do, guys, for those of you who are new, over time, there'll be something you're really interested in or passionate about, or you'll see this thing developing and you'll bring it to my attention if I'm not already aware of it. And if you're, are interested, you can take the lead role in that activity and help the rest of the team get up and running regarding that activity, that marketing activity. That's just how we do things. We develop leadership. We got a lot of great examples on the team. I think I saw Shastine on here. Is Shastine still here? Let's see. Let me do a quick look here real quick.
She was.
I thought I saw her. She may have had to hop off. That's okay. Another example, someone like Gina, John Giggy, they're developing their own coaching, their own teams. Everybody here can do the same thing. You just want to make sure you first move up a notch on the professional development charts. Make sure you're ready, professionally ready to do that next thing. So, in any case, let's see what kind of questions we have here. Oh yeah. Oh, Tanya. Okay. Thanks, Andre. So I'm going to grab her email address real quick here because I know that was back in the beginning. I thought I saw it. Let's see. Trevor, Rob, Sarah. Hey, Andre, do you have
Yeah,
Tanya's email address?
yeah, I
Oh, here it
gave
is. I
it
see
to
it.
you. Yeah, I gave it to you privately and I put it in other chat, so
Okay.
I really didn't miss it.
Yeah, I'm
Gary,
gonna
you
go.
could you could just save the chat too. You could
Yeah, we
save the
get that
whole chat thread.
automatically.
Oh,
Yep.
you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's our settings for such that goes to our hard drive automatically.
Oh,
Let's see, file of leads, and let me attach that. So just take a second. I know if I do this now, it'll happen. And if I don't, it'll be a mystery. So okay, so back to here. Thanks, Andre, for doing that. Um, so Lisa says about doing this to Harley. Lisa, was that how you're getting the letters out? Like, where you're not doing the mail merge? Is that what you were saying?
No, I was doing them individually and I had a goal of 10 a day. So I would actually create them one at a time and then sign them and then put them in the envelope and I'd mail 10 a day.
Well, that will work, but if you do the mail merge, then you can do a whole batch at once, and you still have to print them and sign them and everything and stuff the envelopes. I mean, you can also do labels, right? If you do have a printer and you have Microsoft Office, you can do labels too for the to address and use labels for your return address. But whenever we tested that, Lisa, years ago, it wasn't even close. Whenever we did handwriting, particularly handwriting on the recipient address, hand sign the letter, things like that, that gave us the highest response rate. As soon as we started automating things, the more we automated, the lower the response rate. People just assume it was junk mail, you know? So, but labels do work. I mean, I'm not saying they don't work. It's just there's a difference between response rates when you use labels versus the handwriting their recipient's address, you know? So, yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
hey, Gary,
Hey, hey, Vanessa.
can we put your letter into Realeflow and have it handwritten like that?
Yeah, we actually had that early on, Vanetta. I'm going to have to ask Beverly if she knows if that's really. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to go and actually Tony Moore. Are you on tonight? I think I saw Tony early on. Early on, when we first started this three some odd years ago, um, I think Tony was one of the ones that was using a team letter in Realeflow. Um, I'm not seeing Tony here, but guys, let me do this. But then if you could send an email to me asking about that, I'll follow up and see if it's still there, and I will point out exactly where it is, so everybody will know that location.
Hey, Gary.
Yep, yep, you're welcome. And then that way you can use the Realeflow direct mail campaign. You know, but remember, you're not going to get the same response rates because people can definitely tell the laser printing versus actual mechanical printing. You know, is it just too perfect, you know? So that's the only downside of it. But it's a numbers game. I mean, let's face it. If you can spend $1,200, 500 more than the 700 we talked about earlier, and yet send out 300 letters versus 100 letters, and let's say your ultimate conversion rate went down to 2%, which is about industry average, that's going to be 6 deals versus 3.75 for 500 more dollars. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you just have to do the math, look at your budget, your time budget, your money budget, right? And figure out what your comfort zone is and go that route. You know? So yeah.
Hey,
But I
Gary.
will tell you guys, if your budget is on the low end, do fewer letters, do more handwriting, and do a lot more phone calling, and you'll get a lot more bang for your buck. You'll be spending energy, time and energy, and less money. versus spending more money and less time and less energy, So, okay. Let's see. Okay, good. Let's see. So Jackie had to go. All right. I think we're kind of caught up. I do see a Q&A question, and let me see who that is. George, do you have a standard, simple NDA form? Yeah, non-disclosure, George. We have an NDA we can give you, but also we have what's called a NCDC, non-circumvent, non-disclosure, non-compete. It covers everything, and that's the way to go. You can use that where you are too. You can use that in Canada. Okay. So George, if you would mind, shoot an email to me. I'll put my email in the chat box here. Gary at rewgw.com. Just remember, George, ask for the NCDC, and I'll send that to you either tonight or tomorrow. So, okay. Anything else, guys? You mean I did such a good job teaching and there's no questions? Yeah. I'm just kidding. I think we've covered this well over the years. It's just been a while, and we kind of got it down to a science. I mean, if you just literally watch this recording and follow these instructions, man, you're gonna get on base. So guys, I want a few more things before we go here. All right. I know we're running late, but
Gary,
yes,
sorry.
sir.
I don't have access to the chat notes, so whatever you put in there, I don't see.
Oh, you're not. Let's see. You're on. I just sent it to everyone, so you're not getting the chat.
Oh, I just got
the
the last one. I just got the last one actually.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
I want to make sure you guys are aware of this. Please write this down. We mentioned in the beginning for commercial, we still use Realeflow for residential and all the tools they give us, but we also have CIMLS that I mentioned earlier to search for commercial properties. Okay. And George, again, I would check it out and see if that works in Canada. We like that system. Also, remember RPR, guys, it's really good. You have RPR resident for residential real estate and RPR commercial for commercial. They have great presentation skills. Presentation tools. Excuse me, and some other features I wasn't even aware of. It's pretty awesome. I mean, I'm being mild about it. I'm just telling you, for what you get, just because you're in the business, you don't have to pay for that. It is awesome. Okay. And then
hey Gary, I was using RPR this morning on my commercial deal, and it does everything, including map out all the current traffic studies and everything. In fact, their information is more up to date than the county or the city. And I've been working in 2 different counties. So I'm actually really impressed with RPR.
Yeah. I am too. I was blown away when we first saw it.
Yeah, we did a thing on that just a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago. I think we were on that.
I'll go back on the details. I get lost with RPR personally.
You know what we'll do, guys? Karen, that was actually at our commercial mastermind, I think.
Oh, that was the mastermind. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking it was at one of our regular meetings.
That's okay. But guys, why don't we do that? Why don't we showcase RPR and CIMLS in an upcoming class? I think that would be a really smart thing to do. Yeah.
Please, Gary, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do that. Look for that in March. I think we got February covered.
Yeah, I agree with Lisa, though. I like it too.
It is. It's awesome. It's sophisticated. It's professional. Hey guys, I wrote this down. I know that I wrote it down on purpose, and I'm familiar with the term. I wrote down Zenlist put on EXP. I think what I meant to say is Zenlist is now part of EXP. I think if you go into KV Core, am I right? Does anybody know?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, all right. I don't have anything else on that right now, but maybe I think if you can explore that on your own, just go in there and test it out, see what it does, and perhaps I'll have a class on that too. Because I'm just, guys, this system, what they're doing with the technology, it's like, I mean, I'm blown away. When I have a degree in this stuff, and I'm blown away by it, and the way they make it so easy to use. Like with AI. my gosh, if you can type in a sentence on a computer, you can use AI. You know, you don't need any special skills, you know? So, um, let's see, Lisa's here. ZenList, the ZXP solutions, we have an exclusive. Aha. Okay, good. That sounds awesome. There
It's
was
very
something
cool,
else.
Gary.
Is it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, my investors really like it. They think it's very cool.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, let's see here. No more questions. Everybody okay? All right. So we will see you. For those of you who are going to be available Wednesday, we'll see you Wednesday night on the team meeting. Um, and everybody else will see next Monday. And then if you haven't had a one-on-one lately, please set up your one-on-ones, guys. That's what I'm here for. Hey, Karen. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Talk about AI. I learned something really interesting over the weekend, and that was how to duplicate yourself
Oh,
virtually. I mean,
yeah.
seriously, like on video, like you could send out 100 different videos to all the different people, and it'd be all of their name, but you're only recording one video. So I thought it was like really intriguing. Yeah, I thought it was like awesome. So anyway, there you go. So
I want to know that.
yeah. Yeah, so it was really, really cool. So it was like a 3-hour course I took. But anyway, I thought it was like really awesome. So I mean, this is really getting cool. You know, all the stuff with AI. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's interesting, sometimes the technology, advancements of technology can be intimidating a little bit. But the reality is once you learn it, you realize it's actually buying you time.
It saves you so much. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, whether it be, you could do like clients follow up, like in a breeze, and like literally in minutes. And you could be following up with whether they're listings or whether it's just like, you know, your monthly check-in, and you could get better at following up when you're not doing it, or when you should be doing it, or when you should be doing it quarterly, or when you should be doing it annually. And you could have all these people tagged and doing these things that you should be doing that you're not doing, or doing them better or more efficiently. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody can get better at that. So,
yeah. Hey, Karen, Giselle's asking where you learned that from, like the duplicating yourself for the creating videos. Do you remember where you saw that, or?
Yeah, I took a course in it over the weekend, actually. I can probably share some of that information.
Okay.
It's a guru, so
it is a guru.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does. He lives and breathes and eats AI.
The big friend of Lou's also.
Is it?
Yeah.
You can put it in the chat box here, and if you want, just put to everyone so everyone will see it.
I just know the name of the guy. He does do courses and things too, and training and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah.
I can organize something for the group if everybody's interested.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, George.
Yeah.
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 Remember, because the phase we're in, we're
I could talk to him about something like that, maybe.
Yep. So remember,
we're guy on Honey Badger's last name Krem who teaches AI.
Yeah, but yeah. So let's see.
Well, for the next foreseeable future, guys, assuming everybody's is cool with their databases, you've got your records loaded, you've got them tagged, and you have market updates turned on for everybody. That we're moving on. We have to keep moving forward here. But if you're behind the 8-ball, please reach out to Rob or I. There's things you can do. I promise you, you don't have to do everything all at once. If you just took all your contacts whose last name starts with A, Anderson, Abraham, whatever, do those on one day. The next day, do the B's, then the C's. It'll take you a month, but you'll get it done and it won't kill you. Right? Then you can start using these these marketing campaigns that we're starting to go over tonight was the first one. We have several things we're going to go over in the next couple of months. You're not going to do all these things yourself. We're going to give you, possible marketing campaigns for you to execute, but each of you might execute different marketing campaigns based on where you are in your business, where you are geographically, the type of clients you have, and so forth. So it's not like one size fits all. We just want to make you aware of what's possible. And then in the one-on-ones, we help you select the top 3 marketing campaigns you should be focusing on. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. Because otherwise we're thinking we've got to do all these things. It's not true. We might teach you 24 different marketing campaigns, but you will likely only do 3, but keep that in mind. And you will be, well, Mike's got a message. If anyone is interested in an agent in my local EXP circle, is one of the only AI certified agents in the country. She's leading authority on it. And I can see if she would like to be a guest. Yeah. Michael, make the introduction. I teach for other groups too, and I teach at EXP University too. And I'm glad to do it. Rising tide lifts all ships, So, okay, Nick Krem, that's the guy you're looking for. Very good and pricey. Yep. Okay. All right. Going once, going twice.
Gary.
Thanks, guys, for participating, and thanks for the guests for coming. I hope you liked what you saw.
Wait, Giselle, asking something.
Oh, hey, Giselle, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Hand raised. I just wanted to share something that I implemented as of a week ago. Anytime I have a meeting with a buyer, like a phone call, I've been sending a text saying, hey, thank you for the meeting. It was great to meet you. But instead of doing it via text like I've always done it, I've started shooting personal videos of myself.
Nice.
Via text, right? No fancy software or anything, just my regular text. And I've gotten some very good responses, even a couple of them sending videos back to me. And so,
nice.
And one of them was like, I'm going to start doing that with my clients. Yeah, I was a fellow agent. So yeah, I picked that up from a random YouTube video. I've never heard anyone recommend that before. That was the first time I heard it. And I'm like, let me try it out. And I really like it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Andre does that. He's the one that taught me to do that several years ago. And the folks that, support us, Beverly and Ryan and Sugar and Paul, they're always telling me, please take more videos, because they're the ones that track all this stuff, the stats and everything. And it's true. If the more video you use, it doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be sophisticated. It just has to be done, If you look at my early videos, they're horrible,
Yeah.
So,
and this is via text, Gary, not on YouTube or anything like that, right?
Yes.
Like a quick text back saying, hey, thank you. But instead of text, I do a quick, with my own phone. And one of them was like, oh my God, you made my day. Like everyone has received it so well. So it's something like, I tried it. I'm going to keep doing it. I think it's really, and like literally, it doesn't matter. Like I've been like, just like, no, it's not like you have to get ready for the video, it's just a natural video. Even if you're in PJ, well, maybe not on PJs, but like workout clothes and stuff. Yeah, like no makeup, that's fine. As long, just get your hair, in place, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. You got it. Okay. Let's see. I think that's it. So guys, we're going to keep moving forward with the marketing. But remember, we're going to lock you in to the first thing we think you should be doing for you, and we'll know that through the one-on-ones. Then the second thing, then the third thing, and everything else is just gravy. So, but right now, the way the market is it's mid-February. This is not the kind of stuff you want to wait on. Remember, March, people are already starting to make decisions about their houses. They're taking action on those decisions in April. So it's February. I had somebody tell me last week, we've got plenty of time. This is a seasoned veteran agent with like 30 people underneath him. And I said, absolutely not. I said, we've been starting on this since before Christmas, preparing for this. every season. And the reason we have to prepare so much more today is because there's lower volume, right? There's lower volume. So you've got to outcompete people more like you than you have in the past. If you're wondering why the volume's so low, it's because there's not as many places for sale and the number of agents have stayed relatively the same. That'll change. But the key is, classic cliche, the early bird gets the worm. So this is one of those times where you're going to be a little bit ahead of the market, right? So that when people are making their decision, they're going to choose you because you got front of mind presence with them because you started these things earlier. Most agents are going to wait till April before they start pounding the pavement. It'll be too late for a lot of them. And I know people personally that's happened to. Well, I'll just tell you, Heather's not in class tonight, but she's a perfect example of doing that. Starting the farming in April, people are already taking action in April. Their decision was made a month before, right? This is why we do what we do the way we do it and when we do it. So, anyways, it's enough teaching and preaching for one night. You guys have an awesome night. I appreciate you participating and sharing. Everybody, including the guests. If you have any questions, I put my email in the chat box. Just reach out to whoever invited you to class. And you can always come on. It's totally open. There's nothing to buy or sell or recruit. It's just straight up education. And we were happy to have you aboard. So guys, take care of yourselves. God bless you and your families. If I don't see you Wednesday, happy Valentine's. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Massive Passive Cash Flow. Be sure to go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.